In Korea, beware of men covered in tattoos, as the larger the tattoos, the higher their status. The same is true in Japan. This man covered in tattoos is Japan's youngest gang leader. At only 19, he already controls a territory so vast that even the local police dare not touch him. His name is Qinglong. A year ago, Qinglong was a white-haired loser whose father was also a gangster. At the beginning of the game, his father's portrait was hung on the wall. One day, Qinglong was strolling down the street with a few friends when he suddenly saw someone selling something. Qinglong pretended to go over to pay his respects, but before the other party noticed, he beat them up. Qinglong actually intended to steal the money, hoping to make a killing tonight. Suddenly, a friend picked up a bag of noodles, and Qinglong snatched it away, demanding the money back or the flour. Then they arrived at a restaurant they knew. Not long after, another gang leader arrived. His name was Yamamura. The two sat down and stared at each other for a moment when a group of people appeared outside the door. They were coming to kill the gang leader. Qinglong remained unfazed. Seeing the man about to kill the man across from him, Qinglong grabbed a frying pan and killed him. The gangster was stunned. Qinglong then dropped the pan and, fearing his brother would come back, ran away. The next day, the Shansuan people found Qinglong and brought him to the village. The gang leader wanted Qinglong to join their gang, but Qinglong refused. Shansuan gave him a business card and told him to think it over. Later, the brother called again and told him to run. Qinglong was chased by a group of people. What was their purpose? Last night, their flour was stolen. Soon, Qinglong and his friends were arrested, and the other gang leader also appeared. His name was Tianai, and he wanted to save Qinglong's face. But Qinglong was a poor guy, so how could he get the money, let alone the price of flour? Without money, he would be sold abroad. It was said that when the young man's organs were about to be sold abroad and were about to board the ship, the gang suddenly noticed Qinglong had Shansuan's business card. Tianyi thought Qinglong was from Shansuan, but Qinglong claimed he wasn't a gang member. Tianyi's gang was allied with the Shansuan gang, so they called to confirm things, just to be safe. Soon, Qinglong was taken home by Shansuan's gang. Upon meeting the Shansuan leader, Qinglong said nothing, only asking, "Is there anywhere you can go?" It was this question that moved Qinglong to tears, having been fatherless since childhood. Not long ago he'd been dead. At this point, Qinglong's status rose to prominence, joining the Shansuan gang and becoming a Shansuan member. A year later, Qinglong changed his hairstyle and returned to a familiar restaurant, giving the owner's son some money. This kid was no ordinary person either. He'd show up later. Suddenly, Qinglong received a call, someone was vandalizing his territory. He then arrived at his hotel. The people across the street were from Tianyi's gang, demanding they cede some territory. He was about to hold back for a while, but the more he thought about it, the more Qinglong smashed his QQ with a bottle and then taught his underling a lesson. Afterward, his own waiter bandaged him. Qinglong seemed to have developed a crush on a girl named Xiaomei. Qinglong asked her out. From Xiaomei, Qinglong learned that she was still a student, only selling her art, not her body, and that she was working at their hotel just to prove it, which only made Qinglong fall in love with her. Meanwhile, Tianai, who had been beaten by Qinglong the previous time, demanded that Shansuan give up some territory, otherwise the matter would be difficult. Shansuan turned on them for Qinglong's sake. "If you want to fight, bring it on." Tianyi's face was infuriated. Never bully gang members, because they will avenge their grudges, and even gods wouldn't be able to hit them. A gangster's car was driving down the road. Inside was the local gang leader. Suddenly, two men burst out and opened fire on them. Qinglong saved the leader in time, but the driver in front wasn't so lucky. After the driver was shot and confirmed that his brother was alright, Qinglong rushed out and disappeared. But his brother had died in the car, and Qinglong was devastated. The gang held a funeral for him. Qinglong lay in the hospital, and Shansuan begged his superior to help avenge them. But the superior wouldn't allow it, saying the matter should be handled by the police. Shansuan visited Qinglong in the hospital and explained the situation to him, saying they should leave it to the police. But Qinglong always listened, asking to go and avenge his brother. The superior still wouldn't let him go. That evening, Tianyi's men went out for a stroll and ended up at a bar. Qinglong dragged his injured leg to the hotel, about to avenge his brother, when someone suddenly appeared behind him and killed him. It was none other than their second-in-command, who, in an attempt to take the blame for his brother's actions, Qinglong told him to run. Qinglong stabbed him several more times before running off to wait for Tianai to arrive. His men were dead and the killer was nowhere to be found. Qinglong went to Xiaomei's house, where Xiaomei wanted to clean his blood, but Qinglong's mind wasn't so simple. That night, their relationship grew closer. Qinglong successfully exploited his master. In the daytime, Qinglong returned to the depths of the gang, feeling proud of what he had done, but also sad. Then the police arrived. Qinglong was taken away. He silently glanced at the second-in-command, who signaled him to take care of his gang and himself. The video of Qinglong's arrest was quickly posted online via the Shinma Dongshi movie account, and it made headlines in Japan. Xiaomei was devastated. Everyone who knew Qinglong witnessed the scene. Qinglong was imprisoned for over a decade. 14 years later, upon his release, the second-in-command came to pick him up and took him home for a feast, but the boss only drank one glass of wine before leaving. Qinglong was confused. The brothers told Qinglong that the boss had cancer, in its late stages, but not the most fatal. 14 years after Qinglong's imprisonment, the gang underwent reforms, many people left, and their territory was taken away by others. Qinglong then asked how they made money. They were illegally fishing at sea, relying on small shrimp to make ends meet. They didn't want to work, and it was impossible for them to work. They could never work in their entire lives, so this was their only way to live. Qinglong was walking down the street, dejected, when the owner of her former restaurant spotted her. She was delighted to see Qinglong. She also explained that a friend of Qinglong's also worked at her restaurant. This man was also a gang member, but he had quit and had a daughter. Qinglong then learned from her brother that those who had left the gang, according to national regulations, were prohibited from working for 5 years. They had no bank account, no insurance, no home and nothing. Only after 5 years would they be treated as ordinary people. After eating and drinking, Qinglong wanted to pay the bill, but her brother insisted on doing so himself. Confused, Qinglong paid and hurried away. Qinglong asked her brother what was wrong. The brother said that if anyone saw him and Qinglong together, they would think he was a criminal and he would lose his hard-earned job. After saying that, he ran away as if he had seen a ghost. Qinglong sat down sadly, only the proprietress comforted him, saying she was drinking here in sorrow. Suddenly a white-haired man appeared outside. He seemed familiar with Qinglong, but Qinglong didn't quite recognize him. The white-haired man said it was Xiaoshui, the kid Qinglong had given money to 14 years ago. He'd grown up and now Xiaoshui had become Qinglong. He even had the same hairstyle as Qinglong back then. Xiaoshui explained to Uncle Qinglong that their gang's old ways of doing things meant they couldn't work in public, instead operating in elite clubs. Upon arriving at the shop, he encountered trouble, but Xiaoshui approached and resolved the situation with a simple word of his mouth. Xiaoshui also said he had always admired Uncle Qinglong. After Qinglong's imprisonment, Xiaoshui had grown up and had been decorating Qinglong's gang. Qinglong asked Xiaoshui what he was doing, but he wouldn't say. Back at the gang, the boss was hospitalized again. Everyone had to pay 10,000 yuan, and Qinglong took the extra 100,000 yuan. He then asked the second-in-command what funeral rites they were doing. Their method was to make flour and shrimp, which was not profitable at all. Arriving at a certain place, Qinglong and the second-in-command engaged in a fight, but ultimately he was defeated by reality. But the second-in-command still had to make a living. Then the brother called again. Qinglong had found the girl he had loved since his release from prison. Xiaomei had changed her number and now he had finally found her. Qinglong chose to wait for Xiaomei outside until she got off work. After 14 years, the two finally met. Xiaomei told him they shouldn't see each other anymore. Qinglong was confused. Xiaomei explained that she had a daughter, Qinglong's daughter, but she wouldn't tell you because her father was a gangster. Then she left. Since being imprisoned, she hadn't expected Qinglong to have such a profound impact. Meanwhile, Xiaoshui was negotiating a deal with Tianai, but his tone irritated Tianai, and he left. Suddenly, Tianai remarked that Xiaoshui resembled his father and hoped they wouldn't share the same fate. Xiaoshui asked what he meant, but Tianai remained silent. Finally, after investigation, Xiaoshui discovered that his father was the one Tianai had murdered. Meanwhile, after Qinglong's tireless efforts, the family finally moved in together. However, Qinglong refused to acknowledge his daughter. With the help of a friend, Qinglong also found a job. A nearby colleague, knowing Qinglong's former gangster background, happily took a photo and posted it online, where it quickly went viral. Xiaomei was fired upon arriving at the company because her daughter's father was a gangster and had friends. She was beaten up by her friends because she posted a random photo. All three of them lost their jobs. The brother returned home, his wife and child having run away. Qinglong returned home and Xiaomei scolded him for his actions. Qinglong, now alone, went to the boss's place for a drink. Xiaoshui told Uncle Qinglong that he had found the man who had murdered his father. Xiaoshui wanted revenge and Qinglong told him to take care of his mother. Then he went to the hospital where Yishu had died. He had nothing left to cherish. Qinglong prepared to give the little mermaid a last look at Xiaomei and his daughter. Afterward, he went to a location and killed Tian Ye's group, the men responsible for Xiaoshui's father's murder. Meanwhile, Xiaoshui was leading his men to avenge his father's death when he arrived. He saw that his father's murderer had been killed by Uncle Qinglong. Qinglong arrives at a place waiting for Xiaomei, but it's not Xiaomei who arrives. Instead, it's his brother, stabbing him in the stomach with a knife. His brother blames everything on Qinglong, claiming he's innocent. Qinglong then falls, forever dead in the sea. Every year on this day, Xiaoshui visits this place to see Uncle Qinglong. Qinglong's daughter also arrives, curious about her father's past. Xiaoshui explains her story. The movie ends here. Xingu concludes, you'll always have to pay for what you've done. This movie serves as a lesson for future generations, be a good person at all times, or it'll be too late to regret. For more such content like this, please make sure to like, share and subscribe.